Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in this video I'll be giving you some of the updates related to the UK visa and immigration. Basically I'll be talking about both the good and the bad news. So in terms of the good news, I'll be talking about post-study work visa, and then secondly about the seasonal worker visa. Thirdly, in terms of the bad news, which are kind of majority, and I think there are loads of concerns and the rumors around, which I'll be clearing the rumors. But in the bad news, I'll be talking about the update on the dependent visa, on the student dependent visa, and secondly also on inflation. So this will be the topic of this particular videos. So let me straight away get started with the good news first of all, right? The very first thing is, I think you might have watched a lot of videos in that, is PSW closing or not? I just wanted to clear the rumor out that PSW isn't closing. PSW is just the way it is. Like anyone who's coming for the next January intake, you'll be able to get the PSW for 2 years if you'll be successfully completing your undergraduate degree or a master's degree, or if you're coming here for a PhD, then you'll be able to get this post-study work visa for 3 years. So this will be running for the January intake at least. Now the second thing is in terms of the seasonal worker visa. Now I guess a lot of you might have not heard about seasonal worker visa. So if you haven't heard about it, the link is in the description box for the government website where you can learn more about it. But if I have to explain you in brief, it's more of the visa which is kind of temporary worker visa, which is issued particularly for horticulture industry for up to 6 months. Basically you can work here to pick up fruits and vegetables. The second, you can also work in the poultry industry. So the update is, in terms of the poultry industry, they have expanded the sector. They have expanded certain roles in the poultry industry. So basically there are more job opportunities in the poultry sector for anyone who wish to apply for the seasonal worker visa. So this was another second good update that, well, if you're here coming for the seasonal worker visa, your opportunity to get that visa has increased because the poultry industry that's what the government wants. They want to expand it because due to the huge demand in the Christmas period. So well, these were the two good updates related to the UK visa and the immigration. Now secondly, I want to move towards the bad news. Before I go there, I would really like to thank Think Big Global, which is a study abroad consultancy. Basically it's a marketplace for all your study abroad needs, whether it is related to course and university selection, or whether it's preparing for your English test, whether it's IELTS or TOEFL examination, or whether it is like applying for the UK visa. Everything will be catered by Think Big Global. Moreover, they provide free counseling. All you need to do is go to the link which is mentioned in the description box of this video. It will be taking you to the main page of Think Big Global, and they have got a dialog box where you can put down your free counseling query, and they'll be getting in touch with you within 24 hours. They've got a very active team which work really hard to support all the international students who wish to come and study in the UK. And also they've got services for USA as well, which you can definitely check on their website. So well, now back to the video. I want to talk about the bad news here. So the very first thing is, you might have heard that the UK government is trying to limit the number of dependent visas, right? Now well, this is something which I have also personally read on the blogs, and that is true that they want to limit the number of dependent visas. Now you might be thinking, well, if you are coming here, like first of all, if you don't know about dependent visas, so if you're an individual who are coming here, and if you're married, your wife can also come here, and also if you've got children, they can also come here on dependent visa. Now the government, what they want to do is they want to reduce this number of dependent visas, because when you see the graph, like it has exponentially increased for the last 1 or 2 years in terms of the dependent visas which are being issued by the UK government. And basically these all dependents, they tend to work in the unskilled professions. For example, working in a restaurant, like all these kind of jobs are kind of classified as unskilled labor jobs. So what they want is that they want to have the workforce in the UK which is more skilled, right? So they want to have dependents which are more skilled. Now well, in terms of the plan, like when are they going to reduce the number of dependent visa, and what is their exact criteria, what's the exact plan, we don't know. So that's a thing which government hasn't announced yet. So what I'll say you is, if you're coming here for January intake, you don't have to worry too much about your dependent visa thing. I think it will be still the way it is at the moment. But I think if you're coming for the September intake, then you might want to be still in the loop in order to get another update. Now well, there's another government coming up which is of Rishi Sunak. Now again, there will be another chaos going on because it's a new government, and they've got very crucial issues to focus on as compared to this one. So let's see like when the update comes, but I don't think so it will be within the next 1 or 2 months. But if it's there anything, I'll be making a separate video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel for that. And now coming to the second bad news, which is what I pointed out before as well, which is related to inflation. That's the number first priority which the UK government wants to tackle, and that's what I guess the recent Prime Minister Rishi Sunak will be kind of really working hard on, right? And like I've got big hopes from him because he has been Chancellor. So when there was a COVID, we all received furlough scheme, which basically means we were able to get 80% of our wages without even working. So that's kind of support which Rishi Sunak was the main leader. So I'm expecting a lot that he will be able to helping us in terms of fighting with inflation. But at the moment, what I can say you is that the cost of living has really increased a lot. And also you might have heard that UK is coming to a period of recession. So it's not hit the recession at the moment. What Bank of England suggests is that we might hit recession, the UK might hit recession by end of this year. But we've got a new government. It might be that we don't hit that kind of threshold. However, the inflation has really increased a lot, especially for the last month. I think it was up overall by 10%, which is record high for the last 40 years. Now, what does this means to the international students or anyone who's coming to the UK? So basically what this means is that if you go to your local grocery store, the prices of the basic necessities, the basic essential commodities, like say milk or bread or something like that, it will kind of soar up in the prices. The prices will be increased, so the things will be a bit expensive for you to afford. So that's like essentially what I mean by inflation. The second, in terms of the recession, the effect it will be having is that let's say if you're graduating in January, right, you might be finding it a bit hard to get your graduate job because the job market kind of reduces down during the recession period. The second impact, if you're coming here in the January intake, the impact would be that you might find it a bit hard to get your part-time job, the very first part-time job. It might take you a bit longer. So there's something that's like the kind of impact which the international students might have due to the recession. Now, as I said we haven't hit the recession at the moment. So Bank of England suggests it is by the end of this year. And I think this government might work a bit hard. The Rishi Sunak, he might kind of have a very clear plan that we don't hit that kind of a threshold of recession. Now, let's say if we are in the period of recession, like once we're coming here in the January, I think there's a solution to it. I think you need to be just prepared about it. The first preparation could be just think about when you're coming here from India, you need to get a bit more of cash because you're going to spend a lot because the cost of living is really increasing over here. And the second thing is that, well, if you're coming here in the January, right, you will be graduating next January, for example, right? By that time, the recession might go. Now, well, I can't predict that recession will go or not. Even I can't predict whether it will start or not. But the thing with recession in the past, I think when it was coronavirus, I think the recession kind of lasted for around 6 to 8 months. And you think about 2008 recession, so it lasted for around 5 quarters, which was like more than 1 year. So it really kind of depends, like recession, like how long it takes. But I guess it won't take that long. So let's say if it was coronavirus kind of thing, it was around 6 to 8 months. So you can guess that by the time you graduate after a year, might be the UK economy is very stable and a strong condition, and again the job market will be revived and you can apply for the jobs. And another thing which I would like to point out is that anyone who's graduating in the January, they don't have to be discouraged. Well, there's recession and all these things going on. What I'll say you is that even I'll be making a follow-up video in terms of what all jobs are available where you can get the sponsorship from the company. So I was doing a personal research today, and there are plenty of jobs which are still available. You can still apply and you can still get the sponsorship. So you don't have to be discouraged that, well, these all things are going to affect you, because what I think is, if despite the fact that it's recession or not, if you've got good skills, like if you've worked really good in your degree, nothing can stop you, right? You'll be able to get to your destination anyway. So that's something which I would like to point out. So don't be discouraged, don't be disappointed by all these things, right? These all things are not in your control, but what is in your control is to perform good in your university, get all those skills, get the certifications, and really perform well, and then you apply for the jobs. So well, with this, I hope this video was constructive and useful for you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more such updates, and do check out Think Big Global for your study abroad needs. Cheers, bye bye.